Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello everyone and welcome back to some Season 17 action from the AOR Hype Energy F1 Leagues. It's round 2 of the top tier of the Xbox action and we are here at the Bahrain International Circuit here in the desert under the lights for what should be another cracking race. Well, it was a tight affair last time out at the top between the two Mercedes men, Evo and Surprise, but it was the German driver, the current reigning champion, that came out on top back in Albert Park and picking up the vital 25 World Championship points with his teammate Surprise in second. Those two look like the main contenders going throughout the season, but there are other drivers out there that can spring a surprise. The likes of Simon, more than capable of winning a race, and OMG It's Joe as well. Well, let's get down to the qualifying action. We've got 15 minutes to go in the session. The first few drivers going out onto the racetrack to tackle this 15-turn Bahrain International Circuit. It really is a fantastic racetrack. It's one that I really enjoy watching races around. You get great overtaking action all the way from turn down towards turn 1, up the hill towards turn 4, between turn 10 and 11, and 13 and 14. So many straights, so many possible overtaking areas, and it should be a cracking race without doubt. But first, we've got this qualifying session to get underway. We've got Sierra Rosberg putting the first time on the board at 1 minute 27.725 as Evo comes back into the pits after a quick installation lap at the start of the session. Usually something you would see in a real-life practice session, but I want to quickly congratulate Evo. I'm going to get it out the way immediately. Well done to CRG Evo, securing a place in the Renault Esports team for the next season of the Formula 1 Esports. He teams up with Jarno Opmer and teams up alongside JD, who of course is the coach of that team. So great to see that JD's taking up another role after saying on Twitter recently that he was pulling out of the racing side of things. So there you go, that's been confirmed. He's a coach, but delighted to see Evo get his chance. He deserved it last year. You know, he's so strong. You know, he's so close to the pace of Sally Salton. We've seen it on the Xbox tier and AOR so many times. And, you know, Sally performed so well in the Esports Series last year, getting a victory in the German Grand Prix. And it's great to see Evo get his chance. And I really think that he is capable of winning a few races. So I'm so pleased for him, and I'm sure everyone in the community really is. He was hard done by, you could argue, last year, but finally gets his chance to shine this season, and that I am really looking forward to, and I'm sure he'll be brimming with confidence, having won in Season 16 in AOR and winning the opening race to start Season 17. So 30 minutes to go in the session, early lap times on the board. We've got drivers out there on the medium compound tyre. I believe the tyre choices, if I remember correctly, are the super soft, and the medium compound. So yeah, most drivers going out on the mediums early doors. You know, no real point in setting a serious lap time on the medium tyre whatsoever. It's all about that one lap they will get at the end of the session. But OMG It's Joe, he is the top man at the moment with that 1 minute 27.1 on the mediums. Nothing too representative at the moment. But he is another man that, you know, last season in AOR came of age. You know, he missed out in the last week. He didn't appear for the opening race of the season. I actually think he was away on holiday, was OMG It's Joe. So good to have him back. But without doubt, a man who really, you know, raised his game as the season went on last year. He was seen as a midfield man at the start of the season and then became a real front runner in the league. That McLaren driver, well, having driven in the Force India last year, he was such a strong man. and good to see him back racing in AOR for season 17. A man that can certainly win more than his fair share of races. He has came into the pits though on this occasion, so we'll go and have a look to the drivers out on the racetrack at the moment. Let's go on board with Veloci Surprise at the moment, or outboard, whatever, with Surprise, and keep an eye on him as he starts another lap of this Bahrain International Circuit. And Evil will be fighting so hard for this World Championships. In my opinion, the two top drivers not by a distance. Certainly Simon has great speed as well, but when it comes to consistency mixed in with speed, these two drivers are without doubt the strongest, Evil and Surprise. And Surprise, the younger of the two, for the first time this year, eligible to qualify for the F1 Esports Series at 16 years old, with a lot of potential, and I'm sure he will be taking it to Evil over the course of this season. But at the moment, just it's all about bringing the tyres into temperature, getting the confidence into your car, in yourself to nail that lap, because at the moment, none of these laps are important. Nobody's going to try and qualify on the medium tyre. It's just all about getting your eye in, really. It's one of those sections where you only get one crack at it, right at the very end of the session. It's a one-lap shootout, just like the old days of F1 qualifying, between 2003 and I think about 2005. We roughly had that era where we had a one-lap qualifying session, in the sense, because you've got to qualify on a different set of tyres from the mediums. I think the soft tyre will be the option for the majority of these drivers. So, they go out there, they do a lap on the mediums, get themselves, think they're capable, and then deliver right at the end of the session. But it is Veloci Surprise on top at the moment. LCR Leopard in second, and he is in the pits. We've got Joe in the pits as well. But let's have a look at P1 Brown. He is out there at the moment on those medium tyres, and there's Justin, my good friend in the commentary box, who sadly isn't with us this season. He's taking some time out of the AOR commentary box. Fair play to him. He is a great servant to AOR, and he loves commentating, but sometimes just a little too much, and he's taking some time out this season. But he always refers to P1 Brown as the Monaco race winner. So in your absence, Justin, I shall do just that and call him that. And he comes across the line and goes third quickest at the moment. P1 Brown winning in Monaco last season. What a result that was for him. Really consistent driver, really strong. What can he do this season? It was a decent race for him last time out. He really is a strong driver. P1 Brown picking up 7th place last time out in the Red Bull results. Always knocking on the door of a podium is P1 Brown, and if he can do that this season and tonight here in Bahrain, he will be happy. So a good effort there from P1 Brown, who goes third quickest. Melanie now 7th quickest, begins a flying lap on the medium tyre. 12th he finished last time out, looking to scrape for those points at the bottom of the pile. It is a competitive league in AOR, it always is, and you're fighting all the time to try and pick up any points you can. And Melanie, certainly a man that will be fighting all the way to the wire. A few points, so he's out there on a few laps. He's done 3 laps so far, which is like P1 Brown, the most of anyone. So obviously maybe perhaps a lack of practice, maybe just want to get their eye in more than the others, and try and get ready to nail that final lap at the end of the session. Jason 97 F1, he's also out there coming around the final corner, and he's going into the pits. But Jason, speaking of him, probably like Evil, the most consistent when it comes to picking up penalties. Very, very rare you will see this man picking up penalties. I would actually go as far as saying that Jason is even more consistent than Evil when it comes to not picking up penalties. He really is the master of keeping the car all 4 wheels on the island. And it really does boost them up through the order. That consistency, that solid base of pace, really does carry him along. So at the moment, Jason in 9th place, Alex in P10. He's out there on an outlap at the moment, and behind in 11th as well. But 7.5 minutes to go in this session. Should be cracker. Apologies, folks. I've just got a few people joining into this Discord at the moment, which when they shouldn't be. It's just a problem we have with the servers at the moment. A few people joining in, so hopefully you don't hear them as they join and leave. They're sitting in the ready for interview area, which they shouldn't be. Yeah, can't get into the commentary box at the moment on Discord for some reason, but hopefully we can sort that out. But as long as you guys don't hear anyone in the background and you have our commentary, that's fine. At the moment, he starts a flying lap. Veloci Surprise still on top, at the moment at this Bahrain on international circuit as we wait for the storm at the end of the session when they all fit those soft compound tyres. It is a good racetrack with plenty of overtaking opportunities, as I mentioned earlier. I would say the best of those down into turn 1 and into turn 4 as well. If you can't make that move into turn 1, or if you do make a move into turn 1, you can easily be re-overtaken up the hill into turn 4. It is great, a great circuit for overtaking. If you watched the Bahrain Grand Prix a few weeks ago, you would have seen that it was a great racetrack for overtaking, one of the good races in recent memory. Hopefully this one will deliver as well. So at the moment, still the majority of the drivers on the medium compounds. We've got a few drivers in the pits fitting the softs, but no one venturing out onto the racetrack. As soon as they do, we will keep an eye on it. But we'll stick with Pinecone at the moment. I would imagine he's going to peel into the pits at the very end of this lap for his medium tyre run. But I'm just going to quickly run through the standings following the opening race of the season. CRG Evo on top, 25 points. Surprise on 18. TOR Leopard on 15. Pinecone on 12. Jason on 10 points. DLX on 8. Sierra Rosberg on 6 points. Sorry, no. P1 Brown on 6 points. Sierra Rosberg on 4. George on 2. And Clay's on World Championship points. And indeed, Pinecone has came into the pit. So we're just waiting for that moment at the end of the session where we see some drivers head out there onto the soft compound tyre, and we can expect to see some flying laps that will maybe decide the grid. Has anyone decided to venture out yet? Nope, not yet. We're still waiting on a few drivers coming out. Some drivers down the bottom of the order out there on the super soft tyres. Are they maybe planning to, you know, those drivers that wouldn't usually be near the front of the order, try something different? But when Shaker Fabian is out there, is he going to try and complete a lap on the super soft tyre? Let's keep an eye on him as he rounds the final corner. Nope, he's going to bail out into the pits, and that leaves almost everyone who was on the racetrack in the pit lane apart from CRL Rosberg. So let's pick him up at the moment. But at the moment, I think he's just going back to the pits on those medium tyres. So 5 minutes to go in the session. Everyone has done their best laps on the medium tyre, just waiting for that final flurry. It's all about finding their space on the racetrack and nailing that one effort you get. Let us know, folks, in the comments section, who are you backing for pole position? Is there anyone in particular that you fancy to get the pole position? You've got to fancy the likes of Veloci Surprise, the likes of Evil, the likes of Simon. OMG, it's Joe as well. He's capable of a quick lap. One lap. Leopard as well, the other main protagonists. But we have Beefer, the first man to venture out onto the racetrack on a set of soft compound tyres, as we suspected. So here comes Beefer, the Hungarian driver. He is the first man out onto the racetrack, climbing up towards turn 4. Let's right on board with him at the moment and take you around this Bahrain International Circuit as he heads to the end of that first sector, sweeping downhill through turn 5, 6 and 7, high speed, straining the neck of the real life Formula 1 drivers, straining the thumbs of those that race on a pad through that sequence of corners. Now coming out of turn 8 and down towards another hairpin, turns 9 and 10, that's 9, and then 10, the even tighter left-handed hairpin. It's all about getting a good run out of here. Traction is vital. This is one of the DRS zones, and Beefer, you know, just warming up the tyres as he heads down towards the end of this short straight and into turn 11. It is a place where you can make an overtaking move, although turns 1 and turn 4 are the more likely places to see it. Through turn 12 and into turn 13, and at the end of that second sector. Not long to go to complete the lap, just a long squirt from turn 13 of the throttle down towards the final couple of corners of turn 14 and 15, and then a blast across the line. As you can see here, turn 14 is a big corner, 15 barely exists. It's barely a corner whatsoever as he comes across the line to start a lap. So here we go. This is going to be the first representative time of the session with only 3 minutes to go. These sessions, you know, the mix-up, the tyres on this game, it adds an extra dynamic to this qualifying. It makes it so important, one lap over the course of the entire 18-minute session to get it right. So here comes Beefer in the Renault towards the end of that first sector, climbing up towards turn 4. What is he going to do on what is his opening lap of the session? He's done a 1:32.3 up to this point, far from a quick time as he sweeps down the hill now and go on the grid. This will be the main reference for the main drivers that are all going to be contesting for pole position. The men we would usually suspect, Evo and Surprise, they're just venturing out onto the track. Surprise is much further around, but we'll stick with Beefer until he completes his flying lap down this back straight, as I mentioned. Rare chance to make an overtaking move. There are far better places on the track. Unlike Melbourne, it is a place where overtaking is extremely likely, as Beaver swings his way up the hill through long turn 12 and into the braking zone of turn 13. So easy to run wide on the exit here, and Beaver using all the curb he can on the exit as he heads down a couple of corners. The Hungarian, he's going to put the first benchmark on the board as he rounds the final few corners. The Renault driver up towards the line. What is Beaver going to do? 1:32.3 is his best for now, and he does a 1 minute 26. About a time on the board, but not particularly quick from Beaver. Surprise has started his first flying lap of the session. Have we got anyone further round? I'd like to try and pick people further round on the lap. Have we got anyone out there going quicker than Surprise? I think P1R Brown's a little bit further round, so we'll keep an eye on P1R Brown, and then we'll go to Veloci Surprise as the session. A minute to go. There's P1R Brown as we watch him. Surprise in the Mercedes just behind him on the road. You might have seen it in the shot there. On a mission to try and push towards the front of the order. VSR and Famous has gone second quickest as things stand with a 1:26.5. How will that shake up in the closing moments of qualifying as we wait for the final times? Here comes P1R Brown then. It's still Surprise from Infamous, then Evil, then Jason, who's popped into fourth position. But here comes P1R Brown round the final corner, using all the curb he can to open up turn 14. 15's barely a corner, picking up a slipstream from Franklin as he comes across the line. Pinecone now takes pole position. P1R Brown, he goes fourth. What about Surprise? Keep an eye on him. He shoots to the top of the timesheets with a 1 minute 25.888. He's 4/10 quicker than anyone else has set a time so far. So a good benchmark there from Veloci Surprise. Who else can we keep an eye on? Is out there. Evo as well. For now, we'll go and keep an eye on Simon. To be his one and only lap of the session of importance. Here comes Simon. A poor race last time out in Melbourne. Keen to make up for what was a poor afternoon. Who's seventh at the moment for the German driver. We'll keep an eye on Simon. Then we'll see what Evo has got up his sleeve. Here comes Simon, currently seventh quickest at the moment, coming up towards the line. What's it going to be for Simon? He goes second quickest, a 10th away from taking the pole position from Surprise. What about Evo? Two men at the moment in the 1 minute 25s. Is Evo the man who's freshly joined the new Renault Esports team for the upcoming esports season? Are things about to get even better? Here comes Evo for the line. Oh, they are going to get better. He goes quickest of all, a 1 minute 25.686. He's quicker than his teammate by 2/10. He's quicker than Simon by 3/10, and he is surely top dog here in Bahrain tonight. Can anyone improve? Surprise is backed out. Pinecone is backed out. Infamous is backed out. P1R Brown, is he going again? No, he's not. It's all about Leopard, who is on a late run towards the line. So can he find any time at the end of the lap to try and topple the Mercedes front row? Here comes Leopard up towards the line. No, he's down in 12th place. And that will surely be that from the qualifying session in round number 2 of season 17. It is the Bahrain Grand Prix, and once again, Mercedes reigns supreme. CRG Evo takes pole position by 2/10 of a second ahead of Veloci Surprise and CRG Simon. So really tight between them, but again, it's Evo, the old head, the young upstart, Veloci Surprise. But there's no doubt about it, it's going to be a cracking race. If you saw qualifying last time out in Melbourne, Surprise was second in the grid, but he overtook Evo off the line and made things a little bit more tricky for his German teammate and champion teammate. What a lap though from him, celebrating his move to Renault Esports. What a drive, what a week it's been for Evo, what a year it's been so far. 4 months in, he's won the AOR Championship, he's signed up for Renault Esports, and he's won the opening race in season 17. Things cannot get much better for him. But there you go. There is the results from the Bahrain Grand Prix qualifying session. CRG Evo on top, 1:25.686, roughly 2/10 quicker than his Welsh teammate Veloci Surprise in second. CRG Simon, a return to form, third quickest for him in the McLaren. What can he do in the race? We know he is capable of great things. CRG Pinecone, he is fourth quickest for Ferrari with a 1 minute 26.2. Then it's OMG's Joe in fifth place. He'll be capable of more. He'll be kicking himself with that. Murso, a solid sixth quickest, with Drelex in eighth. VSR and Famous is 9th, and P1 Brown rounds out the top 10 on the grid. Absolutely no threat of rain in Bahrain. I don't think I've ever seen a wet race in Bahrain, so you can almost be guaranteed we're going to have a dry race coming our way next for what should be a thrilling race in Bahrain. As I've mentioned many times already, it is a great race for overtaking. We should see a tactical battle throughout at the front between the two Mercedes drivers, as well as Simon, Pinecone, Joe. They're all capable of getting themselves involved as well. Anyway, let us know in the comments, who do you fancy in this duel between the Mercedes? Are we going to have a flashback to real life F1 from 2014, where Hamilton and Rosberg had that duel in the desert? Is Evo going to come out on top? Is Surprise going to come out on top? Do you fancy Simon to return to form? He's not been at his best form for quite some time, has Simon, but we know he's capable of great speed. Is this the day he returns to form with a big victory? Let us know. We're always interested to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section here at AOR. But the drivers, they're about to start their formation laps, the top 10, all on the soft compound tyre. That is, without doubt, here in Bahrain, the best tyre to go for. That's why we saw those one-lap qualifying runs. No use going for the super softs. They wear out too quick. The mediums too slow at the start of the stint. You lose track position. So everyone just chooses to go for the soft compound. So that's what they're going to do. But I'm interested to see what happens outside the top 10. We might see a few people going for some different things as the drivers begin the formation lap and we load up the tyre choices. And, that says a lot. That really does say a lot. I've loaded up the tyre choices and absolutely everyone in the field has gone for the soft compound tyre. So even those outside the top 10, none of them fancied going long on a set of mediums or going short on a set of super softs. So CRG Evo, the championship leader, 7-point advantage over Veloci Surprise after the opening race. Didn't pick up any penalties in the opener. Veloci Surprise did. A 5-second penalty he picked up for speeding the pit lane, as well as 6 seconds worth, I believe it was, of time penalties. If he wants to beat Evo, a man who rarely makes mistakes, he cannot afford to make any in the opening exchanges of the race or at all in this race. 3-second penalties, they cannot happen, or Evo will be smiling. That is the front row. You've got Simon in behind in third. We know what he's capable of. As I've mentioned, Pinecone in fourth. Of great things. Joe, he's won a race back in Hungary. And as I mentioned several times, every time I bring this up, no one saw that race apart from me because the stream failed dramatically and we had a bit of a nightmare that day. But Joe, yep, I saw it. It did happen. I witnessed it. He won back in Hungary last season in AOR to pick up his first win of age on F1 2018. Murso, the man that moved up from F2 last season, midway through the season, and performed admirably. And again, putting in a strong performance in 6th place. You've got Rosberg in 7th. That'll be a great duel between he and Murso. They're so evenly matched on pace. Drelex as well, VSR and Famous, all capable of having a good scrap for the points. P1 Brown 10th. Jason, the first man with fresh tyres in 11th. He rarely picks up time penalties. What can he do in the Ferrari? Leopard in 12th. He's out of position. We know he's capable of much greater things on pace. Then we've got Shaker Fabian, Melanie, Beefer, MVP Zero, and in the back row you've got the two Saubers of Burnout and AOR Franglish. But here they are, lining up on the grid. Are we about to see yet another duel in the desert here in AOR? It's bound to be a cracker. It's Evo versus Surprise versus Simon. 29 laps ahead of the drivers, and we are about to go racing. Here come the 5 red lights. The floodlights are lit, the desert is set, and we are ready to go racing for round number 2. Lights out, and away we go. It's a good start from Evo, but Surprise is coming across to try and make the move. Evo squeezes him to the inside, lets him know that he's on top, and as they break for the first corner, Evo has the line. It's Evo from Surprise, then Simon battling with Pinecone. Pinecone running wide, Simon as well, as they go through turns 2 and 3. Pinecone dropping down significantly, but it's still the Mercedes 1 and 2. Evo from Surprise, then Simon and Joel gaining ground as well as CRL Rosberg as they funnel their way down the hill on this opening lap. No major drama at the start of this race, everyone keeping their nose clean, but the big gain there was from CRL Rosberg. He's up 2, Jason up 3, and Beefer up 4 as well. 5 seconds, Simon 3rd, Joe in 4th place as we shuffle back to some more action. There's a pass driver of Infamous diving up the inside of Jason into the hairpin at turn 10, unable to make it through. And Jason, what a start he's made. 3 places gained already as we keep an eye on the midfield battle. Jason 8th and Famous 9th and Beaver in 10th. Drelix in there too. He's lost 3 places from the start. Not a good move from the Canadian driver. Down he goes through the order, but we need to shuffle up to the front because Surprise very early on. Touching distance of CRG Evo on this opening lap. Of course, DRS not active until the very 3rd lap of the race as they come across the line to complete the opening lap at a 29. Still Evo in the lead, Surprise in second. And Surprise close enough to make any kind of inroads on the opening lap? It doesn't look like it down towards turn 1. He's certainly close, but not close enough for a lunge. Let's have a look further back. We've got Rosberg, Meursault, Pinecone. That looks like a close tussle. Let's watch them go side by side through turn 1. They're not going side by side. It's still Rosberg 5th, Meursault 6th and Pinecone in 7th. Further down, Drelix gaining ground back after that poor start to the race. He's gained 1 back on Beaver. Now only 2 places dropped. He's 10th, Beaver in 11th. And what a start he's made, the Hungarian driver. 4 places gained at the start as P1 Brown now makes the move on MVP0 behind that, and he is up into 12th place. So a frenetic start to the Bahrain Grand Prix. But at the moment, it's as you were at the front. Evo from Surprise from Simon, with Joe gaining some ground and Rosberg too. But Pinecone, the big loser of the main guys at the front, down to 7th place. And I don't think he would have predicted that, given he qualified 4th and Jason was 11th. He's got his Ferrari teammate right behind him. So big shock to the system there for Pinecone. He'll need to regroup and get himself back into the thick of it. Let's go on board with the Ferrari driver, the prancing horse, as he homes in on the back of the Northern Irishman, CRG Meursault, the CRG team. What is he on lap 2 of 29? Is there going to be a battle between these two? We know Meursault and Rosberg so evenly matched. Pinecone dropping back down. Can he get involved as they come round the final corner at the end of the 2nd lap? Everyone at the moment out there on those soft compound tyres. No one, I believe, sustained any kind of damage. No one has come into the pits as Burnout picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And at the start of lap 3, we have DRS enabled, and we're going to see some fun beginning to kick off in this race. Look at Simon. He looks to be struggling for pace at the moment. He's already 1.3 seconds off the back of the Mercedes drivers, and Joe, his teammate, is looking pretty quick as Pinecone now gets really close to the back of Meursault too. So all happening at the front, and Pinecone looks like he's moving alongside Meursault perhaps. He could maybe have a run as they sweep down the hill towards the braking zone. Is he going to try and go up the inside into the hairpin? No, he's not. He stays behind for the moment, and Pinecone tucked right up behind Meursault, frustrated with that poor start. Certainly looks to me like he's a lot quicker at this current stage of the race and needs to try and make that move. But the problem is, Meursault, as you can see, has the DRS of the car in front, so making a move is not going to be easy for Pinecone as a result of that. But 8 tenths now, Meursault to the tune behind CRL Rosberg. That could drop to a second, and that could give Pinecone the opportunity he is perhaps looking for, as Evo continues to lead from Surprise in second and Simon in third. But let's shuffle back to Pinecone. Let's keep an eye on him. Certainly looks like the closest battle in the top 10 at the moment. The Ferrari driver picked up a solid 4th place finish in Albert Park, just in behind Leopard, who was 3rd on that occasion. Back it up with another strong finish here as they come across the start finish line. Is he going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1? Pinecone having a look, but nope, he's not close enough. And Meursault holds on. I'm going to shuffle up to the McLarens, who look to be in close combat. Mercedes drivers too. Moment they're staying as they were. No big changes in positions. Mercedes 1 and 2, McLaren 3 and 4, Rosberg, Meursault, and then the attacking Pinecone as Meursault runs a little bit wide, and Pinecone, as they sweep down the hill, could fancy an opportunity. Burnout is the first retirement from the race. Pinecone's got a good run coming out of there. Is he going to dive up the inside? He sure is, into the hairpin. There goes Pinecone into turn 8, down the inside, and he had so much more confidence sweeping through those high-speed corners, down the hill, through he went, seen the opportunity, and he flies past the Northern Irishman, back up into 6th place. He started 4th, he dropped to 7th, but he's making up for that lost ground by making a great move there on Meursault. Textbook stuff. Meursault didn't see it coming, and through went the Ferrari driver with a bold move into 6th position. So tidy stuff there from Pinecone. For him will be CRL Rosberg, but I'm going to shuffle up to the lead battle between the two Mercedes. I'm going to compare this, should it get interesting, to the duel in the desert between Hamilton and Rosberg, two Mercedes in Bahrain, closely matched, fighting each other for the championship. This is exactly what it's like. I'm going to go side by side yet, but that isn't going to be far away. And here comes surprise now. Is he going to have a look into turn one? Perhaps if it wasn't his teammate, he would have thought about it, but not on this occasion. On lap 5 out of 29, he looks as if he's making a move. But, you know, is he quicker on pace? Or is it purely down to the fact, so powerful here in Bahrain, that the DRS cannot be broken? Saying that, though, they have dropped Simon to the tune of 1.7 seconds. Incredible pace from the Mercedes duo. Yet again, a surprise, tucks himself up behind the back of Evil, looking for that move. You've got to feel turn 1, turn 4, they are the best chances. He wouldn't usually make a move at turn 8, but we did see that already from Pinecone. Try telling him that. It was a lovely move. As we keep an eye on this duo at the front. Are we going to see surprise go for a move on this lap? Up the hill, you know, the fact that the advantage Evil does have is that he will get the first call on the pit stop. I'm surprised that might be to his advantage. That might give him the opportunity to break that DRS zone, which is so crucial on this game. A surprise now. The back of Evo, and he might, towards the end of this first stint, start thinking about making that move so he can get first call in the pits. So here comes surprise across the line. Is he this time thinking about a move as they start lap 6 out of 29 here in Bahrain? Is he going to have a look up the inside? No, he's not. He's just waiting and waiting. Later in the Grand Prix, no interest at the moment of making any kind of inroads on his teammate. And they remain as they were, 1 and 2. Prize in second. Further down the field, see what else we can pick up. We've got Jason in 8th place. A 3-car tussle developing here. Merceau, at the moment, seemingly struggling with race pace. He's already been overtaken by Pinecone, who was ahead of him in qualifying. So perhaps Pinecone out of position. No, well, out of position, showing that he's got more pace than Merceau anyway. So, you know, Pinecone already onto the back of Rosberg. But, you know, a good little battle developing here between Merceau, Jason, and VSR and Famous. We've seen this from Merceau in Melbourne too. He just struggled with any kind of race pace, but we'll have to wait and see if he can just later on in the race. I'm actually going to shuffle up to Pinecone because he looks really threatening at the moment in 6th place. As MVP 0, unseen by the cameras, has got himself ahead of Drelex in the battle for P10. But Pinecone here, and he's showing that his qualifying matches his race pace because having dropped down those 3 places at the start, he's keen to make up for lost ground. He's already passed Merceau and now is eyeing up that Red Bull of CRL Rosberg as they come round the final corner. It's going to be a prancing horse against a charging bull. What's going to come out on top? The prancing horse, with the aid of the DRS, is going to ease alongside at the start of lap 7 and breeze past CRL Rosberg and up into 5th place. Easy stuff for Pinecone. He takes 5th place away. And Jason in the background here battling actually with CRG Merceau. Look at this. This is the 3-car battle we were talking about. Merceau force wine and Jason squeezes his way through up into 6th place. Now Merceau on the back foot, under pressure from VSR and Famous. Isn't Famous up the inside and through? The rubbing wheels are training pain, but Famous gets the ground, gets the high line and moves through into 8th place. And Merceau has, you know, not so spectacular afternoon. Seems to be continuing. The race pace not there for the Northern Irishman. He's lost 3 places since the opening lap. 1 to Pinecone, 1 to Jason, and now 1 to VSR and Famous. But Jason making some ground, and he will be one to watch come the end of this Grand Prix. We know that Jason puts up penalties when others do, does not crack under any pressure. So that will be one to watch as we can shuffle back to the leaders and move anytime soon from Veloci Surprise as they get nearer and nearer to that pit window where that undercut is so vital, where Evil maybe gets that opportunity he needs to break the DRS. So lap number 8 now out of 29. Is Surprise going to try a move this time? I would doubt it. In making a move, he's happy to sit behind Evo at the moment, but he is thinking about it this time. Here comes Surprise on the inside. He thinks half-heartedly about it. Evo, thwarted, makes a mistake, flustered by that lunge there from Surprise, missed the apex of the corner, and now is out of shape, and Surprise fancies his chances, climbing up the hill towards turn 4, the two silver arrows doing battle, but Evo holds firm for now, and you just feel this is a pot that's simmering at the moment, waiting to boil over here in Bahrain when the race hits its climax, when it reaches that crucial moment later on, because they're so evenly matched, and DRS is so hard to break. Last man over the line at the end, last man to get the DRS, and they're just waiting in the wings for that great moment. It's all about saving the ERS, all about management of the tyres at this stage. Although we thought about it, decided better of it, and stuck behind Evo for now, but it is beginning to look all the more like that fantastic, famous 2014 duel in the desert between two Mercedes, albeit at the moment it's just simmering and waiting to go over. No sign of it just yet. These two respect each other. They're so rivals. They've had so many great battles in the past, and there will be no contact between these two, I can assure you. So much respect between them as Surprise rounds the final corner again. Is he this time? Begin lap number 9 now to 29. He's certainly closer, and here comes Surprise. He's going to dive up the inside. Evo ain't fighting it, and is this the change of leadership in the Bahrain Grand Prix? Yes, it is. Veloci Surprise moves past Evo and into the lead. Is Evo going to fight back though as they sweep up the hill towards turn 4? Is he going to have a look? I don't think so. Evo knows this. Breaks himself and hits the back of Surprise. That would have been a crucial moment in the race, but I think Evo knows, and I think Surprise knows that this is just all gamesmanship at the moment. It's all about that final stint in the race. Actually, Surprise now in a position to pit first. Break the DRS. That is the key here. That is the only thing they're fighting for at the moment. The victory battle will come later if they do not sort themselves out and separate that DRS zone between them. But Surprise now has that opportunity. Evo does not. Just to undercut. So Surprise leading from Evo in second. There's a lot of battling going on further down the field. We need to pick that up. Look at this going on. Look at this. Look how close they are. We've got Infamous in 8th, Murso 9th, and then Leopard in 10th. And Leopard fighting with Murso, who really is struggling out there for any kind of pace. And there is MVP 0. Leopard side by side with MVP 0. Look at this. Through the high speed right hander of turn 12. MVP 0 diving up the inside. The Pink Panther, through he goes. Huge oversteer moment on the exit of the corner. Fighting back. We'll go on board with Drelex, who's keeping an eye on the action. Popcorn out. He's going to go round as Drelex. He's spun it into the path of Beefer. Is there damage there for Beefer? Hopefully not. Drelex overcooking it on the way into the corner. And in fact, Drelex is coming into the pits. Has he ruined those tyres? He may have done so. And that's a shame for Drelex as the battling continues on the way down to turn 1. We've got Piona Brown having a look and making a move side by side with Beefer. They go sweeping through turns 2 and 3 and up the hill they go. Action everywhere you look at the moment. Even further up the road than that, you've got Urso still fighting with Infamous. Intensifies. I just do not know where to look at the moment. 0 though. Looks like he's the most threatening behind Leopard in the battle for 9th and 10th. And on Leopard, 0 making some interesting manoeuvres, some choice decisions, some late lunges to try and battle, because Leopard, we know, is an aggressive driver. We know he loves to go for any move that appears. Unfortunately for Leopard, unfortunately for 0, he's unable to get away through, and Leopard holds 9th position as things stand. Surprise still leading from Evo in second. Simon starting to reel them in a little bit. 1.5 seconds now. Pinko and then Rosberg, Jason in 6th. But the midfield battle, that is where it is all unfolding at the moment between Jason and Infamous. There is a 3.6 seconds gap, so that suggests there's a little bit of a gap. Drivers in the field. You know, it's certainly a field with certain places you feel maybe the Mercedes drivers are, you know, that little bit quicker than everyone else, and then you've got you know, other drivers that can fight on occasions for victories as they come across the line. We've got a few pit stops. Simon's in, Surprise is in as well. Pinecone, Murso, Beefer and Shaker Fabian have all came into the pits as we watch more battling down towards turn 1. Melanie and P1R Brown. So it looks like Surprise is ahead of Simon. No surprises there in that particular battle ladder, but this is crucial He's rejoined the racetrack with a 7.4 cushion to the car in front, so he's got space to work in. He can undercut work. A few people suggesting that the overcut is faster than the undercut due to tyre warm-up, so we'll see how it pans out. But surprised with the open racetrack to really try and break that DRS zone to CRG Evo and make a decisive punch towards victory in this race. We'll see how that pans out as we shuffle forward to LCR Leopard, who is fighting still with Infamous. If Evo pits, we'll keep an eye on he and Surprise. Oh, look at that from Leopard! That's so late on the brakes from Leopard. I just mentioned how aggressive Leopard can be at times, how he goes for every move that's going, and he dives past Infamous up into turn 13. Infamous though ain't having any of it. He dives back through into the final couple of corners and takes 4th place. Evo has come in, Rosberg has come in, but we just need to keep an eye, and that's across the line. They're all coming into the pits anyway, so let's keep an eye on Surprise. Where is he going to be in relation to Evo? Surprise, round the final corner. Evo in the pit lane at the moment. For the outcome of the race, we know how strong the DRS can be. Is he ahead? Is he behind? I think Surprise is going to be ahead, and indeed he is. Evo's right there. Look how tight they are as they come to the first corner. I tell you what, it's marginal. Along with a comment and say that the overcut was quicker, perhaps. Really not much in it at all. Surprise threatens to break that DRS zone. It's at 9/10 as Evo needs to try and get some heat into those tyres. Comfortable cushion though over Simon of around 2 seconds, but OMG, it's Joe and Simon. He's right there, threatening about making a move as Evo drops to 1.3 seconds behind Surprise as he struggles to get the heat in the tyres. Is that a massive moment? 1.6 now. Can he reel that back in? We know how evenly matched these drivers are. Informs us that you need those tyres at the end of the race. You need them to be in good condition. We lost for Evo, even if he does drop out of that zone. We know that Evo is so strong on tyres as well. It's going to be one to watch. And, you know, as Jarno makes his point in the comment section, I want to take the time to congratulate him. We congratulated Evo earlier on. Congratulations to Jarno as well on securing a place in the Renault Esports Vitality team this season, along with Evo, with JD as coach as well. I'm interested to see who they select in the pro draft alongside, but congratulations to you, well deserved on that esports slot. Prize from Evo, then Simon and Joe, Pinecone, and a few more pit stops. Leopard and P1 Brown have come in, and Leopard's going to rejoin P9, 10. Look at this battle into turn 1 actually. Infamous, and they're fighting with Murso and MVP Zero, and Murso's got himself ahead of MVP Zero as the midfield battle again heats up. MVP Zero picking up a 3-second time penalty there. Going through turns 1 and 2. Now Murso all of a sudden loving life on the medium tyre. Trading paint with Infamous, forcing him wide, and he's going to get through, and now MVP Zero tries to fight back and get into the battle. Look at this, the three of them dueling like crazy as they sweep down the hill towards turn 8. Ahead for now, Zero gets back involved and squeezes himself through and ahead of VSR Infamous, who's dropping like a stone, and Melanie now will fancy his chances pretty soon. So Infamous, not a good few corners for him, and he drops down the order. So there you go, Murso 9th position, 0 and 10, and VSR Infamous in 11th place. So a few changes there going on in the midfield action on lap 13 out of 29 as we watch this midfield group swarming their way up towards turn 13. Without doubt the best action on the circuit at the moment. Just ahead of them is Leopard. He's got a second cushion over his Williams teammate of Murso. Melanie, Franglish in there, Beaver 2, all within a 1 second window of each other on lap 14 now out of 29 as we get towards the half distance. Not quite there, but we're getting closer as Murso now defends towards the pit wall. Zero's going to be on the attack. What's Zero going to do? Is he going to keep it in the middle of the road? He is going to keep it on the racing line as Murso defends. That will ruin Murso's exit of the corner, we feel, but Zero's the one that gets on the curb and has a little bit of an oversteer moment. Is he now under pressure from cars behind? It doesn't look like it as they all stream up the hill towards turn 4. It's as you were, Murso from Zero, then Infamous, and Melanie too. So great battle developing between the midfield drivers. That's what we love to see in AOR. Competitive action at the front, at the middle of the field, and down the back as well, as you would always expect to see. So Surprise, 2.2 seconds now to Evil. The comments, do you think Surprise is going to win it from here? Was that vital undercut crucial, or do you think that the tyres, Evil's maybe saving them for a late charge later on? Who are you backing? Do you think Surprise is going to win it? Do you think Evil's going to win it? Again, as I say, we always love to hear your thoughts. Let us know. My opinion is, from here, 2.2 seconds, that's a big cushion. Big cushion for Surprise. I think he wins it from here, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think as well. But sticking with the midfield battle, which as always is absolutely brilliant here, as Simon sets a brand new fastest lap of the race, by the way, and gets himself within half a second of Evil. The man turning the screw, Simon, but I want to stick with the midfield battle because he's not in an area of the racetrack where you make a move. So let's keep an eye on Zero. Is he going to zero in on Murso? That's a terrible pun, by the way, as they go into turn one. Doesn't look like it. Murso on the inside, Zero behind. No way through as they sweep uphill through turn 2 and 3. But now Murso getting a poor exit, and here comes Zero alongside. Here comes the Pink Panther, the Force India on the Williams. Is the Dutchman going to be through as they go side by side through turn 4? They're just not giving each other an inch, and Zero edges past up into 9th place. Down to 10th goes Murso. Lovely move there from the Force India driver, and through he goes. So 9th place now for MBB0, 10th for Murso, with Infamous in behind, 11th with Franglish in 12th, who by the way, Franglish, we've not spoken about him much at all this season, let alone today. Started right down at the back of the pack, and is, quietly went about his business, to be fair. Burnout has retired his teammate. They were both sharing the back row, and he's now picked his way up into 12th place. And this is AOR, this is top tier. That isn't easy to do, so hats off to Franglish. Got himself ahead of Drelex, Shaker Fabian, Pimona Brown, who's had a bit of a nightmare. I'm not too sure what's happened to Brown there. Beefer and Melanie. So, hats off to the Cerber driver. Can he complete a great drive by moving himself into the points in the not too distant future? He's certainly within range, so that will be one to watch. Hats off to him. Keep an eye out on the Cerber driver, who's having a really solid race by the way it's gone so far. But let's keep an eye on him as he runs down towards turn 1. Is he going to make a move in Infamous here? 3 tenths between them. The closest battle on the racetrack. Doesn't look like it on this occasion. He remains tucked up behind him. But perhaps on the run up towards turn 4. We've already seen Murso being overtaking up there. But I don't think Franglish is going to be close enough on this occasion. And he will not be. He stays behind in place. So let's move up then. No, in fact, no, let's not. Let's stick with this. He's still there, Franglish, and I think we're going to see a move similar to what we've seen from Pinecone earlier in the race into turn 8. No, we're not. Not quite close enough as they run down the hill. He certainly was threatening it, was Franglish, but nope. Infamous had the gap. So let's quickly shuffle up to the front as the midfield battle settles down briefly. Surprise, still leading by 2 seconds to CRG Evil, who's starting to chip away at that gap ever so slightly. Looking to return to form in 3rd place with OMG, it's Joe tucked up behind him, shadowing the Mercedes, just waiting on their opportunity to pounce on what has been a utter perfection from Mercedes so far this season. Locked out the front row in Melbourne, 1 and 2 again here in Bahrain, and are currently 1 and 2 once again. Can McLaren spoil the perfection in the hands of CRG Simon? He's certainly within range of Evo, and Evo knows he cannot get embroiled in the battle with Simon. If he does do that, his chances of victory will disappear because, start battling with Simon, surprise will be, thank you very much, I'm going to disappear up the road. Cannot allow that. Needs to try on Veloci Surprise, and if he can do that, he might be able to home it in on his rival. And if it stays this way, by the way, I know this is only round 2, but it is a 10 race season, so round 2 is quite far into a 10 race season. It's basically round 4 of a 20 race season, so every point is important. But as it stands, Surprise and Evil, 2 races in, are going to be locked together. So I mean, if that doesn't excite you for the whole season ahead, I don't know what will. It's going to be a great battle between them. Is more than capable of throwing his hat into the ring, as is OMG, it's Joe. And at the moment, you've got to feel if anyone can beat the Mercedes drivers, it would be a good day. Around the final corner goes CRG Simon. Is he going to be close enough to have a look at Evo on this particular lap? Is he interested in having a look at Evo on this particular lap? Does he want to wait for later on in the race? Is he going to try and join Evo and try and, as a duo, home in the back of Veloci Surprise? Maybe that is their plan. They're staying as they were. Surprise from Evo, from Simon and Joe. And as I say that, Simon, a 3-second time penalty, a crucial penalty for Simon. It's something that thwarts him so often. It's a mistake he so often makes. I mentioned earlier on about the consistency of Evo. You know, the consistency that those two, he and Surprise, have over the likes of Simon. And it's showing in Simon with the error. 3 seconds added to his race time. And in AOR, over a 50% distance race. That is absolutely massive amounts of time, especially on a track like Bahrain, where penalties are not something you see very often. And unfortunately for Simon, he has now got an uphill task if he wants to get a result here today, as Joe is right behind him, his teammate, in 4th place. But anyway, we've spoken enough about the guys battling at the front. Let's have a little shuffle down again, see if we can pick anyone up in a battle. I think the best one at the moment is still who is battling with Mercer just in front for the final point, and Franglish, Melanie right in there behind, potentially involved in this battle for the final point. So that, you know, that's going to be one to watch in the remaining 10 laps, no doubt about that. Who gets the final point of the day? Will it be Mercer? Will it be Infamous, Franglish, Melanie? Fiona Brown, we know he's got great pace. If he can recover in this Grand Prix, he could be another shout point. In the field so far today, they have gone from the soft compound tyre onto the medium. Nothing else to go for as Franglish thinks about a move into turn 1 on Infamous. A really strong afternoon for the Sauber driver if he can get into the points, without a shadow of a doubt. Remember, folks, we're always interested to hear your opinions here at AOR. Let us know your driver of the day. That's something we want to know. It's Franglish. Clips the back of Infamous there. Slight touch, no damage done for either driver. Infamous maybe lost a fraction of time to the car in front of Murso, but thankfully he didn't go spinning, didn't lose a bucket load of time, and neither did Franglish with that slight touch. Has gained the most places of everyone, 6 places, as you would usually expect from a man that was down at the back of the field, and it's usually because of retirements, but no, actually no, he's not. Zero has gained the most places. Apologies, he's gained 7 places. Has Zero. Franglish has gained 6, but usually that can be skewed a little bit by retirements, but not today. Not today. We've had 1 retirement so far, and that is Burnout. So, you know, if Franglish gets himself into the top 10, he's a contender for driver of the day, in my opinion, as is Zero, up 7 places. He's put in a great performance to get ahead of Evo after that great lap from Evo in qualifying, but we need to switch up to is now right behind Evo. 3:10 he was going into turn 1 there. Unable to find a way through as Surprise continues to lead as the 2 McLarens begin to gain on the back of Evo. I think Simon knows that Evo's gaining on Surprise and he doesn't want to think about passing. He wants to wait until Evo is with Surprise and maybe it'll open it up into a 4-car fight for a big battle to the finish and allow him to contest this victory. Because if either McLaren go for a move now, they're squandering their chances of victory, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, we have to remember Simon does have a 3-second time penalty, but, you know, important to these drivers, you know, their pride to try and come home first on the racetrack. But Simon perhaps just waiting till later on in the race before thinking about moving the engine modes up and going for that big move on CRG Evo. But it looks like he's about 6/10 off the tail of CRG Evo on this occasion, so perhaps we're not going to see a move on this particular lap. We will follow them around the final corner and towards the line, but Fiona Brown, actually, let's go down to him. He is threatening a move on Melanie at the back of that big train, fighting over the final points paying position. Almost opening out a second advantage now over Infamous to try and break clear, but Fiona Brown really is threatening to make a move on Melanie here as they go round turns 14 and 15. is the Red Bull driver about to put one to come across the line to start the flap 21 out of 29. Here comes Fiona Brown. He's on the attack. Melanie thinks about defending. Fiona Brown comes really late from behind him, dives up the inside, gets to the apex first, squeezes Melanie up against the curb. They're still there side by side, and Melanie gets his elbows out and holds on for the moment. The battle will continue. Streaming up the hill they go. Is he going to try that late lunge again? No, he's not. He remains behind in P14 for the moment. Great defensive driving there from Melanie to cling on. It looked for all the while he was about to lose that place. We're going to see a switch back, perhaps, from the Red Bull driver. No, we're not. He stays where he is. Great defence from Melanie. It just goes to show you, even far down the order, when there's no points at stake, everyone in their place. It's such a competitive field here in AOR. And Melanie holding on to that 13th place ahead of P1R Brown, which at the moment it really does look like he's going to have to lose it at some point. Up at the front though, 1.9 seconds, doesn't look like it's being closed in at all. We'll stick with this battle. Melanie, the melon muncher. I think I mentioned it last week. It's incredible that Renault looks like a banana, but it's a melon that's driving it. A little bit of a confrontation between the fruits. But what about this time? Can P1R Brown try his very best to make that move into turn one? He's certainly in the DRS zone. He's in the slipstream behind that Renault, and Melanie will know he needs to defend this one, defend better than he did the last time. Melanie doesn't defend, in fact, and he's going to give a free run up the inside here for P1R Brown. Does he make the apex? Does he get it parked on the apex? Yes, he does. Tidy stuff there from P1R Brown. Can Melanie do anything in response as they run up the hill? I don't think so. He's behind him, and that looks like a done move. Through goes P1R Brown up into 13th place. Next up on the radar, it's AOR Franglish. Tidy stuff there from P1R Brown to get himself through. VSR and they're still battling with Murso. You've got to feel though that they want to get a point out of this in Famous and Franglish. They need to dispose of Murso very quickly indeed, because if they don't get themselves through, just for that, if you heard that, as I mentioned already, we're in the ready for interview on the Discord, not a commentary box, because we're locked out the commentary box. I don't know why. I think Dan Hawkins has thrown away the keys. We'll blame Dan Hawkins for that. But yeah, apologies for that one, that little fuzzy moment you heard there. But in 12th position and in Famous, as I was saying, they need to get themselves ahead of Murso, because if they don't, P1R Brown, who we know has got more pace than them usually, generally speaking, will fancy his chances of getting ahead and taking that point away. Murso in general just struggled for pace all afternoon, it has to be said. But I think we should shuffle up to Simon again. In 3 or 4 tenths of Evo, but not doing enough. Inroads on make that move on Evo as things stand. Surprise leading, 6.5 laps to go from Evo in second. Is Evo starting to make inroads? Is he going to gain in and close in and stop him from getting that victory in the second race of the season? At the moment I can't see it. Simon in third with a 3-second time penalty crucially, then Joe in fourth. That's the battle on the racetrack to watch at the moment. Hell again here in the desert night sky of Bahrain. It's up to this point a cagey affair at the front, hectic action midfield of this 10 race season. We go to China next, then we head to Austria, Britain, Germany, Italy, Japan, Brazil, all the classic circuits on the calendar. But here comes Simon. This is as close as he's been, and I think he's in enough. Looking at the back of Evo, and here comes Simon on the inside. Here he goes, diving through, up into second place. That's music to surprise his ears. As through goes Simon, up into second place he goes, and Evo has been overtaken. Well, the man has been bulletproof for so long, Mercedes, who've looked bulletproof for so long, have been undone for now by CRG Simon. He moves through into second place with 5.5 laps to go, but crucially, remember, he does have a 3-second time penalty, so it should reverse it back round, but perhaps it gives OMG's Joe an opportunity because of CRG Evo, as he does not have a time penalty. So, you know, still that Mercedes 1-2, the perfection that they've had so far this season, will be under threat. 1.7 ahead now of Simon, who has put the boot down, it has to be said. And is he the man on the mission here? Can he home in on Veloci Surprise? Surprise gone too quick on his tyres? Maybe he has, I'm not too sure. All speculation, but it is asking a lot to home in 1.7 seconds laps. But you have to keep the tyres in good nick going into the final few moments of this race, as Evo tries to retaliate perhaps to Simon. Can he find a way back through as they come across the line to start lap 25 out of 29? Here we go. Evo on the attack down towards turn 1. The DRS open. Is he close enough? No, he's not. He remains where he is as Simon now cuts it down to 1.5 seconds. He certainly has the pace, Simon. Today, he has got great pace. Just those penalties. His Achilles heel always seem to hurt him. Always seem to compromise him. And they are doing the case again. Surprise leads. Simon second. Evo in third. OMG, it's Joe in fourth. They're all fighting together over those podium places. 6.4 seconds adrift of the top four in the Ferrari. Rosberg in behind that with Jason in 7th. And Leopard, who's had a bit of a scrappy afternoon, in 8th. Zero is 9th. And then, as I've mentioned already, that awesome battle that's beginning to develop for one measly World Championship point between Mursel in the Williams, the Haas driver of VSR and Famous, the AOR Franglish, and the man I said that would be threatening them pretty soon, P1R Brown, who is now right there on the tail of Franglish. Make some moves quickly. He has got to be the favourite in that group to get himself to the top 10. Here comes P1R Brown now. He's on the attack. He's thinking about a move on Franglish as they go into turn 11. He's not quite close enough where he is for the moment. For the final point, heating up here in Bahrain in the Apex Online Racing Leagues, the Hype Energy Leagues, Season 17 of the action. This 10-race short sprint as we await the release of the brand new game of F1 2019, which releases, of course, in late June. But let's keep an eye here on P1R Brown as he comes round the final corner. Is he now going to remove himself from unlucky 13 and take P12 away from Franglish down towards turn 1? It doesn't look like it. Is he going to go for the late lunge? Yes, he is. Daniel Ricciardo-esque on the brakes, licking the stamp and sending it. But Franglish holds on, keeps his line, and holds the position and keeps the hold of P12. And, you know, he's running out of time. He's running out of overtaking opportunities as P1R Brown, and he remains in P13 as we run at the action. I don't want to miss anything. Simon is catching Surprise slowly, but surely he's getting there. But I think it's going to be too little too late, and it doesn't help that Evo is right behind him and he might think about making a move soon. They said that you need to keep the tyres in the window. Has Surprise gone too quick? Are they going to get him before the finish? 1.5 seconds in AOR is asking a lot, but you never know. We could be down for a grandstand finish here in AOR. Do not go anywhere. Keep an eye on it, folks. This could go to the wire. Simon, of the top four, is the only man with a 3-second time penalty. We should let you guys know that if you weren't already aware. But Evo, at the moment, looks very quick. And look at this. He's gone straight up into mode 4. And he breezes past the McLaren as if he wasn't even there. That was like Premier League against League 2. He flies past up into second place. And is this the moment where Evo puts the boot down and says, Surprise, you thought you'd won it, but I'm coming back to get you. With just 3 laps to go, has Surprise cooked the tyres? Has Evo just waited like the wise old head that he is to pounce late on? It's going to ask a lot from Evo. 3 laps. For me, in my opinion, he's left too much to do, but you just never know in AOR. Anything can happen, and it usually does. Meanwhile, further down the field, it's all beginning to kick off. There it is. Mursel down to 11th, and Famous has got himself into the top 10 unseen by us, and now P1R Brown has niggled his way through ahead of Franglish as well and all of that. Side by side they're actually going. Franglish and P1R Brown. Look at that. Through the S's they go, and Franglish battles his way back through into the 12th place he gets. Lovely stuff. Great action in the midfield again. And through he goes. But Mursel, the man that's been struggling for pace all afternoon after that great 6th place in qualifying, now doesn't even have a point to his name. It's not been a good day for the Irishman, the Northern Irishman I should say. They'll be disappointed with that as Famous tries to streak clear into those points paying positions. We've been unable to see the move from Surprise. They're unable to see the gap come down from Evo. It stays at 1.8 seconds. We'll keep an eye on the gap. That is the big story. But the action on the track is all about for the final World Championship point. But at the moment, I have to feel Infamous should get it as things stand. What about Franglish as he comes round the final corner? Is he going to go attacking on Murso down towards turn one? The problem is Murso also has DRS to the car ahead of him, and here he goes. Is he going to go attacking round the outside? He's going to try it as Franglish. Can he do it? No, he can't, and he stays where he is. So Murso 11th and 12th place. I've seen Leopard and Jason swapping places there. I didn't realise there was a change there, but Leopard apparently moving ahead of Jason, unseen by us on the camera. So Leopard taking 7th, Jason in 8th, as we continue to watch the battle for the final World Championship point. Infamous just ahead. Look at this from Franglish. He's sawing at the wheel of that Sauber, trying everything he can to muster up an unlikely point. People in the comment section, Sally, of course, man for the Alfa Romeo's Sauber team, he's suggesting that the next 3 laps will test Josh's mental strength. I'm sure they will. Let's we'll see how he's matured as a driver. As Murso on the attack tries round the outside of Infamous as they continue to fight. It's like a battle royale for the final World Championship point. Still Infamous holds on. Franglish so desperate to get involved, given where he started, right down in the back row. It would be threatening driver of the day with 10th place, you know. If he could do it, it would be something special from him. But still, holding on as Infamous in this battle for the final point. Surprise 1.5 as they start the final lap. I think it's too little too late. Evil leaving himself with just that little bit too much to do. Across the line in the battle for the final point they go. This is what's kept us entertained over the course of this 29-lap race. And here we go down the inside. Here goes the Williams driver, Murso, the Northern Irishman, battling his way alongside Infamous. Side by side they go, climbing up the hill towards turn 4. Still Infamous. Oh no, into the wall. Big crash there for Murso. He's out of contention. Not too sure what happened there for him. Off he goes into the wall. And the Northern Irishman's poor afternoon with lacking pace is going to end in no points and a bash with the barrier. It's a shame for him. He drops down and is out of the running for some points. It looks like it's going to be Infamous versus Fiona Brown, but we need to shuffle up to the leaders. Here they are, the Mercedes duo, once again, as they did last time out in Albert Park. It was pole position, it was a front row lockout, it was a 1-2 finish, and here in Bahrain, they're going to repeat that feat. It's just like the real-life F1 2019 season. Here comes Veloci Surprise across the line. He brilliantly wins in Bahrain. He gets one over an Evo. They go level on points in the championship in this 10-race sprint. AOR in season 17. It's going to be some season between the two. Simon comes home 3rd. Joe must have picked up a penalty himself, unseen by myself, in 4th. 5th. Rosberg 6th with Leopard 7th. Jason 8th. MVP 09th, and as they run to the line, is it going to be Infamous? Just about across the line in 10th. He beats Fiona Brown to that final point. Franglish 13th, Beefer, Shaker Fabian, and VSR Drelix coming home in 16th. Murso, as you saw in that final lap, into the wall he went of the race. We lost burnout early on, but that was it. Hats off to Veloci Surprise Evo. He's been in fine form. He's full of confidence. As I mentioned earlier on, champion in season 16. That was announced in the Renault Esports team this week. Put it on poll here today. You know, you had to say he would have been the favourite going into this one. But no, Veloci Surprise, the youngster, eligible to qualify for F1 Esports this year. I'm sure so many teams will be looking out in the pro draft. They've all got to pick one driver from the pro draft, and I'm sure Veloci Surprise will be the name on a few of the team's lips. What a performance from him. He wins here in Bahrain with Evo in 2nd and Simon in 3rd. We're 3 races into the season. Sorry, 2 races into the season. I'm getting ahead of myself. Pardon me. Out of 10. Full on points. 1 win for Evo. 1 win for Josh. It's all set up for a fantastic season here in AOR as we, slowly edge our way into the F1 Esports Series. This is what it's all about. But at the business end of the F1 game cycle, with F1's Esports Series coming up, all the teams, they all want to be watching the top leagues, keeping an eye on all the top drivers. And Veloci the prize in Evo. Well, Evo's earned himself his place in a team. Surprise, surely deserves one as well. And he's the winner here in Bahrain by 1.2 seconds in the end. That crucial undercut, that crucial move before the pit stops was key. Evo second, surprise. Simon in third for McLaren. 3-second time penalty. OMG is Joe. He came home in fourth with Pinecone in fifth. Sierra Rosberg was sixth with LCR Leopard in seventh. A bad day for Leopard. We know he's capable of more. We know he's got a lot more pace in him than that. Jason comes home in eighth. MVP Zero, he was ninth, and in that big battle royale for the final points position, it went to VSR in Famous. There was no points for Pimona Brown in 11th, Melanie 12th, Franglish in 13th, Beaver 14th, Shaker Fabian 15th, and Dwaylex, the final finisher in P16. CRGA Mursol, we saw him crash out in the final lap. He was well in the battle for that final point before crashing in 17th. He did not finish, and Burnout, he retired very early on. So that rounds off the Bahrain Grand Prix. We'll wait to see if we get anyone in for an interview. We usually hear from Evo. We're interested to hear if we hear from him today. I'm excited to ask him how he feels about not only today's race, but yesterday that he joined, of course, with Renault Esports. And speaking of the devil, he has now joined us, CRG Evo with us. Well, Evo, it was, again, another close race with Veloci surprise your teammate. There's so little to choose between you guys, and it looks like it's going to go all the way in the season. Decisive moment in that race. Was it in the pit stops?
I think so, yeah. I mean, he got out of the pits with like cold tires, and then he got like a 2-second gap, and after that it was pretty much over because we were so close on pace. There was like a tenth from him, and then a tenth from me, and back and forth. And yeah, not too bad considering we're in the same team and we have to deal with this, but that was the whole point of this, I think. But yeah, it was a fun race. I'm looking forward to the next one and make sure I get him that. But for now, congrats to Josh. He deserved this one. He drove a perfect clean race, so congrats to him.
With the lap in qualifying, Evo, you didn't seem to leave much on the table there. That was a fantastic effort in qualifying. Do you think you had much more on the table after that one?
Yeah, maybe 2/10, but that's it pretty much. The lap itself was pretty good. Yeah, I was quite surprised. I did a 0.6. Really, I didn't have much time to prepare, but yeah, I was pretty happy with the qualifying lap.
I want to move on to something big. The big news from the weekend. Renault. Tell us about it. We're absolutely delighted for you. I'm buzzing for you. I was jumping in the air when I heard that you got the call to go to Renault. So tell us about that one. How long have you known about that one and kept that one a secret?
It was coming for a long way. It was quite hard to keep it a secret, but yeah, it's finally announced, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to show what I can do in esports.
Because no doubt about it, Evo, it was an injustice. You maybe won't say it, but we will say it for you. You should have had your chance last year. We know how quick you are. We know what we're capable of. Quickly tell us, what are your aims then? It's hard to set aims, but for you, Evo, going into that esports series, what are you thinking? What would you like to do in that your debut season in it?
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know really. Maybe finishing in the top 10 would be nice, but the main focus will be getting lots of points for the team. That's the main goal.
All the best, Evo. Congratulations on that second place today, and best of luck for the season in esports, and of course for the rest of this AOR season, because between you and Josh, it looks like it's going to be a fantastic battle. So congratulations on second today, and well done on what's been a great week all round for you with Renault as well. But yep, I'm going to have a quick word with OMG. It's Joe, who finished the race in fourth place in the end, just lacking a little bit of pace, but perhaps in qualifying. Joe, was that what set you back outside the away from the top of the tree in terms of fighting for the victory today?
Yeah, I didn't really do any practice because I didn't think I'd be racing today. I literally got online 1 minute before the lobby was meant to start. And yeah, I did the worst lap of my life in qualifying. I was like 4 or 5 tenths off my PB from like a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I wasn't really happy with that. But the race went well. I kind of had to hit a bit earlier than I would have liked, so I wasn't going to get to lap 11. And I didn't really know when my teammate was going to pit. So yeah, at the end then I just had to back off because I didn't want to get a puncture, and I was happy with 4th after literally no practice and not thinking I'd be able to race.
So that's what happened, because I saw you were right behind Simon, so you just backed clean off. Is that what happened?
Yeah, like I was not going to get past either of them. I knew he had a penalty, but I just did not want to risk the puncture. 12 points is better than no points, so yeah, that was my mindset really.
So what kind of percentage were you looking at on the tyres? How were we looking?
I was on 75% going on to the last lap, so that's puncture territory. So I just took the last 2 laps really slowly.
So sort of, yeah, fair point. You know, that's a very, it's a mature way of looking at it. You know, we'll not go for the podium. We'll not go for the 15 points. We'll just make sure we get 12. So yeah, very good way of looking at it, Joe. What about the races coming up, Joe? We know you're quick. I mentioned it today. You know, you got your first win in AOR last season. You know, looking really strong in the cycle of this game. As the game's gone on, you've got stronger and stronger. How do you feel going into the rest of this AOR season? Do you feel you can really start to stamp with authority and try and get a few wins on the board?
Yeah, I really think I can. I know it'll be hard, but if I can put the practice in, I'm just looking at the calendar now, there's definitely a few races there, like Italy, Belgium. I can definitely take the fight to Evo, Josh, Simon, as I want to be doing at every race, but of course there'll be somewhere I won't be quite as quick. But then, on the other hand, yeah, I think there's some really strong ones in there for me. So yeah, a win or 2, I'll be happy.
Best of luck for the rest of the season. Good result today, getting up P4. Solid result for McLaren as a team. Actually, one more question, Joe. I didn't ask Evo this, but I'll ask you this. How do you feel with it? You know, being teammates with someone you're so even on pace, as Evo said. You know, I'm surprised it kind of decided the race between those two. You know, is that kind of seen as a bit of a hindrance for you, because you're dictated by when your teammate pits and he's ahead of you? Is that a bit of an issue, do you feel?
Yeah, I guess kind of. Consider me and Simon, we're not in a party together, so we don't really communicate about what's going to happen. But in another way, it's quite good knowing that I have a teammate who will really push me, and I've just got to try and beat him really and do my best.
Absolutely, it's always swings and roundabouts. There's always good points. There's always bad points. But yep, thank you for joining us, Joe. Thanks for Evo for joining us as well, and Jess for streaming. Thank you to you as well. But that is it. That rounds up round number 2 of the AOR High Energy F1 League, season 17 of this 10 race season, as we all get geared up for F1 2019 coming out later in the year. But that's all from me. That's all from the guys in the interview. We'll see you next week for the Chinese Grand Prix. It's round 3 of this season. We've got great races coming up. We've got China, Austria, Britain, Germany, Japan and Brazil, all classic circuits that we all love and enjoy. But we head to China next. Be sure to join us next week at the same time of 9 PM UK time. But that's it from me. That's all from the guys in the podium. I'll see you later. Good night.